And in November, India and the US signed a long-term LPG import deal, that would meet 10% of India's overall requirements for the year 2026. How significant is that deal, and how would it influence India's gas market dynamics? If you could give us a sense of that.
There are few pointers or there are few perspectives that we can look upon at this particular deal if we are talking about the Indian gas market dynamics. So the Indian gas demand curve has been very steep and it has been uprising. And definitely the country requires supply diversification and security. Establishing a new stable supply corridor um, with US Gulf Coast is definitely going to support the country in mitigating the short-term supply disruptions.
Just
On the
which countries are India's top gas suppliers at the moment? Like, if you could give a sense of that, because you mentioned that diversification is important.
um, I think the major contributor to Indian gas industry has been UAE,
Okay.
with somewhere totaling around 35 to 35.53% to the Indian gas market share, followed by Qatar, which somewhere stands around 20.72%, and followed by Saudi, Kuwait. So it's mostly Middle East, like I said,
Okay.
wherein we can definitely see new emergence and the long-term deals which are happening across. So on the second point related to the Indian gas markets. On the side of price benchmarking and competitive pricing, I believe US shipments are priced according to Mount Belvieu, which is a different benchmark than the Middle East suppliers, which is definitely going to give India great sourcing flexibility. And when global LPG prices spike or freight cost aligns, I think US cargoes could become more economical for the Indian markets and the Indian consumers. On view of economic and trade implications, um, the deal supports India's goal to rebalance trade with the US, like we have seen in case of crude. Also, that India is trying to maintain the economic ties and shielding India's consumer and business from the import price volatilities, whether it is in case of crude, energy, and the other products. So I think that is somewhere on the view of economic and trade implications that this deal is going to be beneficial and will reduce our dependencies on the gas spot markets.